by.
Loading. Loading complete.
30,
29, 28,
27,
26, 25, 24,
20,
22,
21, 20, 18,
17,
16, 15, 14, 13,
12,
11, 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
4,
2,
1. Now for what you've all been waiting for.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Good morning, good day, good evening, good night, good wherever it happens to be where you are. And hello to everybody who watches this in the future. And just so you know, no reporters falling off of tall buildings were harmed during the making of this broadcast. Oh, see, Theta Grid, the grid was in the chat there. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Oh wait, no, that's just a bird. Sorry, folks, my mistake. No big deal. Excited to see the stream image. Much love, brother. Well, much love back to you. Well, as you probably know, this stream is a long time coming. I had this idea in my head for probably a couple months now. And I was going to do it last week, but we had Easter and I had a family get together and all that. So I postponed it to this week, which I guess works out. Getting on to a little singing to get things started here, I guess. Every morning, every evening, ain't we got fun? Not much money, oh, but honey, ain't we got fun? The rent's unpaid, dear, we have no bus. Smiles were made, dear, for people like us. In the winter, in the summer, don't we have fun? Times are bumming, getting bummer, still we have fun. There's nothing sure, the rich get rich and the poor get poor. In meantime, in between time, ain't we got fun? Tax collectors getting closer, still we have fun. Twins and cares, dear, come in pairs, dear, don't we have fun? We've only started, no, we're not downhearted. When I'm laid off, I'll be paid off, ain't we got fun? Times are bad and getting madder, ain't we got fun? Times are bad and getting badder, still we have fun. There's nothing sure, the rich get rich and the poor get poor. In the meantime, in between time, ain't we got fun? And ain't we got hope as well? Well, while we're waiting for people to file in here, how about we get to a song on the wheel? Babyface. All right. Rosy cheeks and turned up nose and curly hair. I'm raving about my baby now. Pretty little dimples here and dimples there. Don't want to live without her. I love her, goodness knows. I wrote a song about her, and here's the way it goes. Baby face, You've got the cutest little baby face. There's not another one that could take your place. Baby face. My poor heart is jumping. You sure have started something. Baby face. I'm up in heaven in your fond embrace. I didn't need a shove, 'cause I fell in love with your pretty baby face. When you were a baby not so long ago, you must have been the cutest thing. I can picture you at every baby show, just win every ribbon with your sweet baby ways. Say I ain't fibbing, you'd win 'em all today. Baby face, you've got the cutest little baby face. There's not another one that could take your place. Baby face, my poor heart is jumping, you sure have started something. Baby face. I'm up in heaven in your fond embrace. I didn't need a shove, 'cause I fell in love with your pretty baby face. Baby face. And I just realized I forgot to put the list of songs in the description and for you guys to make decisions on requests. I was pretty busy trying to get scrambled to get things together the last minute here. Uh, this one segment I had planned and kind of blew up in my face, so I had to scramble and get together with something else in a hurry. But guess we'll get one more song in before we get onto some artwork. Let's see here. To do. Here we are. Did you ever see two Yankees part upon a foreign shore? When the good ship's just about to start for old New York once more. With tear-dimmed eyes, they say goodbye. They're friends without a doubt. When the man on the pier shouts, "Let them clear," as the ship strikes out. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old time throng. Give my regards to Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Say hello to dear old Coney Island if there you chance to be. When you're at the wardrobe, have a smile and charge it up to me. Mention my name every place you go, as around the town you roam. Wish you'd call on my gal. Now remember, old pal, when you get back home, give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old time throng. Give my regards to Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Give my regards to Broadway. And I give my regards to the chat. Come on, let's see. Here's some people who'll speak up in the chat there. Don't be afraid. I don't bite much. But might as well get on to the first some of the artwork here. And I usually do artwork covering a single artist, but for a Superman inspired theme, I came across this list on Twitter X. I'm pretty sure all these are all comic book artists. Uh, this first one here is by George. There's another one of his. Is I actually quite like this one of Superman sitting on the cloud like that. You have another one by Dan and Mora. It's get a little bit closer look on that one. It's got the pretty classic Superman flying with a nice satisfied grin on his face in the upper orbit of Earth. This is another one by the same person who did the first one with him sitting in the cloud. Looks like he's pushing a asteroid or possibly a planet. He's strong enough to do either. He's got. I actually kind of like the simplicity of this one. It's got some good line work on the shadowing too. And this one was by Lee Weeks. Okay. Kale Nuge. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. I'm probably screw up names left and right here. We're trying to pronounce these. As for this one, I can't say I'm a big fan. I think he made his features and his face way too soft. The lips and the eyes look kind of effeminate to me on this one. The detailing on the rest of it looks pretty good. Good shadowing. It's just the face is just kind of throwing the whole thing off, and the way it's structured, the face is where your eyes are drawn anyway. So, not a big fan of that one. Shoot, I meant to click the other button. Button. Who's got the buttons? I got the buttons. I'm screwing them up. All right. Alex Ross. Honestly, I think this one is. They made his suit way too shiny. Looks like they went with an older style for the face. He's got a little bit more wrinkles, more definition in the face. Yeah, the costume is just way too shiny. If they had toned down on this, I think it would have been a really good compilation there. I did it again. Stop doing that, you. Telling myself that. Patrick Gleason. A very simplified design. I like it. It's him floating above the clouds with some birds. The only thing is they're missing the tights, so this is probably during the Man of Steel era. Those tights really break up the costume. Another rather simple one by Frank Quitely. This one I actually quite like. So yeah, it's a fairly simple drawing, a little bit of shading on it. Good perspective and detail on this building here. Again, somewhat simplified one. I do have to get a close up on this one. There's a lot of detail in that on this thing. So you have some simple line work and coloring with the Superman coming up out of what possibly is the ground or something. But look at all the detail in this ground. There's little sketches as of all sorts of characters from DC Comics. We got Batman there. It's like a Plastic Man and Dark Side. I could probably spend quite a bit of time just picking through all the little nods that are in here. Another more modernized version by Dan Jurgens. It's okay, I guess. It's good Starfield, and it looks like it may have been touched up with CG. Oh no, maybe not. A very simple little old school one from Kurt Swan. I don't know, the perspective on his build looks a little off. I look at it, but definitely old school. Tim and Sale. Looks like they have Superman spinning in this one. He has his feet crossed. You can't really make out any definition in his face, and he has obviously has his cape flying upwards, so it does look like given the indistinct marks around him, it does look like he's just kind of spinning. Now, another interesting thing is the way they have the feet and the hands. It also makes it look sort of like he's on the cross, which is an interesting little nod to the religious touches there in Superman. This one's a pretty good one by Ivan and Reese. You can see a lot of detail in this drawing. The background is pretty good for color or contrast. Neil Adams. This is a pretty good one. And with Superman doing his transformation from Clark Kent to Superman. Good line work in the face there. See if we can get it. So you can see some pretty decent line work on the shading on the face. He's there. Oh, this is a good one here. See a number of the different Supermen and iterations of his costume over the years. One of the original classics there. This one here looks like the Christopher Reeves version, which is one of my personal favorites. Then you have some of the later iterations with I'm guessing this one in the front was probably the most modern version that we have in the comics. And collar. I don't like the collars on the high collar on in the suit, or the hands being covered. That makes it doesn't really make sense for Superman to have that, as it makes it harder for him to cover it up during his Clark Kent in disguise. This little touches on the suit that don't really make much sense which is an issue they have within this latest Superman that they're coming out with. And of course, classic Joe Shuster, the guy who helped originate Superman. Oh, hello. Oh, glad to have you here. Don't worry if I'm boring you guys. I'm almost done with this. Mike Janin, another simplified design of Superman. Good use of color and just a very basic Superman in there. Gary Frank, that's definitely a good comic book drawing of Superman right there, of him saving Lois. Probably for the umpteenth time. George Perez, yeah, that's definitely a comic book artist. That looks like, actually, I don't think that's Wonder Woman there. It looks like Wonder Girl. It might be Wonder Woman, sorry. Francis is Manipole. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. I'm surprised I got that. Again, a little bit too much use and looks a little oversaturated in my opinion. But this one looks more like Superboy than Superman. A very classic Superman. Who was this one? John Byrne. Byron, yeah. It's a pretty good one. Andy Kubert. I don't know about this one. This one looks a little off to me. Just the way his neck is twisted sideways just doesn't quite look right to me. I don't know. Kind of looks like he's got his head on a little crooked there. I mean, I guess it was obviously he was trying to tilt sideways with his head, but it just doesn't quite work out for me. Yeah, Casey's creepy. Casey, look in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Major Grey Wolf. Well, I'm flying. Woohoo! I don't know. I just kind of spin through space, ace in the void, every so often. I do like this one. It's a deceptively simplistic background. There's a lot of work in this background, even though it's a lot of negative space. He's obviously singing his Fortress of Solitude here. It looks like the inspired from the movies. Another one that looks more like Superboy than Superman. Ed McGuinness. Yeah, this one, I don't know. That extended arm looks a little bit too stubby to me. Maybe if they had just extended it out, focused a little bit less on the muscle and just extended that out just a little bit, it would have worked. Jason Febach. Okay, this one I really quite like. You can now, like I said from the earlier one, that one that I said that had the expression being a little bit too effeminate. This is actually a good contrast as to what I'm talking about, where you don't have that that issue in this one. This pretty good line work for on the face, some shadowing in the body. You can see how you actually have the sun casting on here. That's really good there. But yeah, this is I think one of my favorites here out of the batch that I've been looking at. And a bunch of different ones from the whole Super family. You'll probably spend quite a bit of time in picking out all the nods in this one. Crypto, Super Monkey, Superman, various iterations of Superman throughout the multiverse by the looks of it. Power Girl, Supergirl. And our final one by Jim Lee. Yeah. Greetings, sentient being. We're just finishing up some of the artwork here. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed some of that artwork. I know it's not the usual thing I do. But let's get into a little bit more, or when we get into a little bit more a few more songs here. And I close my song window. Sheesh. I'm really on the ball today, aren't I? Yeah, right. All right. Hello, my baby. I've got a little baby, she's out of sight. I talk to her across the telephone. I'm seeing my honey, but she's mine, alright. So take my tip and leave this gal alone. Every single morning you can hear me yell, "Hey Central, fix me up across the line." He connects me with my honey, and I ring the bell. And this is what I say to baby mine. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, lose me, then you'll be up the load. Oh, baby, telephone and tell me I'm your own. Hello, hello, baby. Hello, I guess you can't hear me. The wires must be crossed somewhere. Hello, hello, I said hello this morning through the phone. She said her name was Bess, but I kind of know where I am at. I'm satisfied because I got my baby's dress. You're pasted in the lining of my hat. I might scared if the wires get crossed to separate me from my baby mine. Then some other fool will win her, and the game is lost. So each day I shout across the line. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, lose me, then you'll be left alone. Oh, baby, telephone and tell me I'm your own. Come on, baby. Hello, my baby. uh, yes. I believe they were from Krypton. So, and another song. Yeah, putting on the Ritz. Have you seen the well-to-do up on Lexing Avenue, on the famous thoroughfare, with their noses in the air? High hats and narrow collars, wide spats at $15, spending every dime for a wonderful time. If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where Harlem flits? Putting on the Ritz. Spangled gowns upon the devy of highbrows from down the levee, all misfits. Putting on the Ritz. That's where each and every Lulu Belle goes. Every Thursday evening with her swell bows, rubbing elbows, come with me and we'll attend their jubilee and see them spend their last 2 bits. Putting on the Ritz. If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where Harlem flits? Putting on the Ritz. Spangled downs upon the devy of highbrows from down the levee, all misfits. Putting on the Ritz. That's where each and every Lulu Belle goes. Every Thursday evening with her swell bows, rubbing elbows, come with me and we'll attend their jubilee and see them spend their last 2 bits. Putting on the Ritz. Come with me and we'll attend their jubilee and see them spend their last 2 bits. Putting on the Ritz. Putting on the Ritz. Okay. Putting on the Ritz. I believe that gets us to our next segment. Give me a little chance to clear the throat with a little Tullamore Dew honey. And if you happen to have a little bit of something to drink out there, whether it be alcoholic or non-alcoholic, drink them if you got them. Always do so responsibly. Well, thank you, Casey. And your shows are quite entertaining to listen to while I work as well. Okay. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, if able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. Yes, the man of steel. Superman debuted in Action Comics #1, published in April 18th, 1938. Written by Jerry Siegel and illustrated by Joe Shuster. The cover date, however, read June 1938. Vendors removed issues based on cover dates, so publishers set them 2 to 3 months later to keep comics on stands longer. But Superman roots go back further. In January 1933, Siegel wrote The Reign of the Superman, and where Superman was a villain. The concept was reimagined into the heroic icon we now know today. Action Comics 1 was priced at just 10 cents, and it's about $2.27 today with inflation. Modern comics often cost about $5 or more, which I think is overpriced for what you get. Retailers often struggle to profit at these prices, and it creates a price barrier for many new readers. Superman was created during the Great Depression, and he symbolized hope and moral clarity, qualities we could use more of today, I think. His instant popularity led to his own comic book series, Superman, #1 in 1939. Originally, Superman couldn't fly. He could only leap a vast distance in a single bound. Thanks to his super strength and speed, he was also impervious to bullets, explained by his Kryptonian heritage, with his people being thousands of years more evolved and adapted to heavier gravity. Over time, his powers grew. Action Comics number 11 from 1939 introduced X-ray vision and superhearing. Action Comics number 20, he also from the same year added super breath. In the second episode of the 1940 radio show gave him flight. His vision, his heat vision, and intensified X-ray vision at the time. He debuted in Superman in number 59 in 1949. The Silver Age from the 1950s to 1970s has brought bizarre power. It's like the creating mini Superman duplicates. It's from Superman and 125 from 1958, though many of these were later dropped up for consistency. The Silver Age also expanded its Superman's world with the Fortress of Solitude, a hidden Arctic retreat, and Supergirl, his cousin from Krypton, or a chunk of Krypton at least. Key characters like Lois Lane, a fierce reporter and love interest, had been in a part of the story from the very beginning in Action Comics number 1. And Lex Luthor, his brilliant arch nemesis, was first introduced in Action Comics number 23, but he had red hair instead of being bald at that time, which he blamed Superman for losing his hair. Superman in his look drew from 1930s pop culture. His heroic demeanor was inspired by Douglas Fairbanks' swashbuckling charisma, while Clark Kent's speckled, timid persona was inspired by comedian Harold Lloyd. His red tights were a callback to circus strongmen, and his iconic red cape was influenced by Pulp Fiction and heroes like Zorro and Flash Gordon, as well as the flowing garments of stage performers, adding flair to his dynamic leaps. Beyond comics, Superman became a cultural phenomenon through broadcasts like the 1940 radio show and the 1979 Superman film starring Christopher Reeve. His iconic presence paved the way for the entire genre of superheroes, with his S-shield symbolizing hope worldwide as he stood for truth, justice, and the American way. Uh, Power could really bug me. Anyways, it's not a natural extension of something they always had. Yeah, I can understand that. I do. I When I like to do some fan fiction, I sometimes tone down on the powers a little bit from where they're currently at. Oh, I did want to address this one thing on the American Way thing. Recent comic book writers have tried to rephrase it into a better tomorrow, to reflect a more global or modern perspective. Uh, to me, Superman, in saying the American way, is an expression of ideals, regardless of whether you think America is living up to those ideals or not. It's the principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's a way of life that's humanitarian and optimistic. And I think Superman using use of the American way, he better reflects his upbringing as a character on the Kent's farm. But what do you guys think? Do you prefer truth, justice in the American way, or do you prefer truth, justice, and a better tomorrow, as they are currently doing it? Superman had the values of his human parents, and if his baby ship had come down in Germany. In fact, there is actually a what if story following exactly that. Actually, I think they call it Elseworlds in DC Comics, not what ifs. His slogan has been established is for so many decades. He should not change it. Uh, Hail Theta. Yeah, okay, Elseworlds. Yeah, I was right. Okay. Mm. But yeah, like I said, I think it better reflect the American way a slogan and better reflects like Superman of as to who he is rather than saying a better tomorrow. All right. See what we can get in the old song wheel. Beginning with the light brown hair. Let's see. Just having to check my router real quick, make sure I didn't get knocked offline. Oh, I guess not. Good. Having some power issues lately, and that could get knocked off off by that since the internet's all connected to the part of the house that's losing power or from time to time. I dream of Jeannie with the light brown hair, born like a vapor on the summer air. I see her tripping where the bright streams play, happy as the daisies that dance on her way. Many were the wild notes her merry voice would pour, many were the blithe birds that warbled them o'er. Oh, I dream of Jeannie with the light brown hair, floating like a vapor on the soft summer air. I long for Jeannie with the day dawn smile, radiant in gladness, warm with wit and guile. I hear her melodies like joys gone by, singing round my heart, oh, the fond hopes that die. Singing like the night wind, sobbing like the rain, wailing for the lost one that comes not again. Oh, I long for Jeannie, and my heart bows low, never more to find her where the bright waters flow. I sigh for Jeannie, but her light form strayed far from the fond hearts around her native glade. Her smiles have vanished, her sweet song flown, flitting like the dreams that have cheered us and gone. Now the nodding wildflowers may wither on the shore, while her gentle fingers will cull them no more. Oh, I sigh for Jeannie with the light brown hair, floating like a vapor on the soft summer air. Oh, see. One more song to get this to the next segment. Dee-doo-doo. little delayed song, and usually sung by a woman, but I would think I need to do it at least some justice, ish. Okay, just put your earplugs in. I was oh so blue till you came along, just to make my life a wonderful song. You brought sunshine just to brighten my loneliness. Is it any wonder in my happiness I confess? Do I want you? Oh my, do I? Honey, did I do? Do I need you? Oh my, do I? Honey, did I do? I'm glad that I'm the one who found you. That's why I'm always hanging around you. Do I love you? Oh my, do I? Honey, did I do? There are lots of others that I have met. Those you meet today, tomorrow forget. You're the only one who ever could stand the test. That's the reason why I choose you from the rest. You're the best. Do I want you? Oh my, do I? Honey, did I do? Do I need you? Oh my, do I? Honey, did I do? Okay. Now, try and get up to here. And this and that. And the other thing. And I hope my computer doesn't crash because I forgot to reboot the thing before I started the stream. I'm putting a lot of load on it. But, our trivia for the night: the Christopher Reeve 1978 Superman movie. Now, this was one I had happened to watch while I was in the hospital. Last time I was in the hospital, and it happened to be the same week that Gene Hackman died, which kind of gave me the idea to do this whole show themed around Superman in the first place. I was going to do it back on that week with honoring Gene Hackman in his passing. I decided to hold off on it and try and do it in the month that Superman was first released to the comic book world on April 18th. However, Easter came up and I delayed it for a week. But getting into the trivia, Steven Spielberg was offered the chance to direct this film. Producer is both at the salary he asked as for. They decided to see how Jaws 1975, which he had just completed, it did at the box office. He did a pretty good job. That movie he was a huge success, and since Spielberg went on into other projects. This year, he directed Close Encounters of the Third Kind in the 1977. Apparently, this is outdated. If it information, I should have edited that. And the year after, he directed in 1941. Both which were listed by a Superman in at the box office. So it looks like Richard Donner won in that round. But Spielberg caught up later. They would eventually work together on The Goonies. Richard Donner spent virtually a year working on the 2001 DVD release. He's reinstating some footage and preparing several making of documentaries. Robert Redford, Clint Eastwood, and James Caan and were all offered the movie his title role. All three turned it down. Redford wanted too much money. Eastwood said he was too busy, and Caan said that Mario Puzo wrote in a hysterical script with Superman doing loop the loops and shit. Marlon called old me, come on and do it too. I need some laughs. And so he said, yeah, but you don't have to wear the cape. No way I'm getting into that silly suit. Oh, come on. Superman's suit is not silly. But it was a different time back then, and we had different perspectives on superhero movies. But can you imagine that Clint? Can you just try and picture Clint Eastwood trying to do Superman? Well, for those of you who are Doomcock fan, and he does a impression of Clint Eastwood, we might have to get him to do Clint Eastwood Superman sometime. Something to keep an eye on for future reference. Unknown at the time, John Travolta to audition for the role of Clark Kent Superman. The Soul Kane, however, turned him down. Travolta would later star in Grease, which became the highest grossing film of that year in 1978. Yeah, I could kind of picture it. I mean, without further context of Christopher Reeve. Paul Newman was offered the choice of playing Superman and Lex Luthor or Jor-El for the fee of $4 million. Newman was not interested in any of them, and he would have looked a little bit older than this. Actually, I can't remember if this is around the time where I think he was a little bit younger in this picture, but I don't know. I think he might have been a little bit too old for the role at the time that he was offered. He might have been able to pull off Jor-El, but I'm not sure about Superman at the time. But if he was younger 10 years ago, prior or in the 60s, if they would do this movie, yeah, he could have done it. Yeah, that was it. This is from him in the 60s. Now I remember. To obtain the glowing effect of the clothing on Krypton, in the wardrobe department spent weeks sewing tiny glass balls onto each actor's apparel. If the material was accidentally touched or intentionally touched, like in this scene, the oils on the actor's hands would interfere with the lighting effect, like leaving a dull little patch on the costume. And of course, here's Marlon Brando, who had to go and just straight up touch the damn clothing. It was Marlon. It was Marlon Brando whose idea to have Jor-El wear the same S symbol on his clothes that Kal-El would later wear as Superman. The Superman S logo that Marlon Brando wears on his white cloak, which we see here, looks like the same as the one used for George Reeves' costume in the television show Adventures of Superman from 1952. This was probably a homage since the film the idea of the S symbol being a Kryptonian family crest of the House of El has been incorporated into Superman's comic book and subsequent adaptations. And for a little comparison, there's the George Reeves Superman S. Marlon Brando sued the Sulkines and Warner Brothers for 15 million because he felt cheated out of the film's considerable box office profits. This is the main reason why footage of Brun and does not appear in Superman 2, which was filmed back to back with the first film. So before the first Superman was out, they already had the second one in the can. Marlon Brando was paid a 3.7 million plus a percentage of the gross for 12 days of shooting. The payment also covered the sequel, which was shot at the same time, which mentioned. Brando did not appear in the sequel because he sued them, claiming Sulkine and, had no paid him his percentage of the profits. He ultimately received about 14 million for 10 minutes of screen time. The footage shot for the sequel was used in Superman in Returns in 2006, which is the screenshot we're looking at here. Carrie Elwes worked as a production assistant whose job it was to bring Marlon Brando out of his trailer every day. Brando was who was paid 1 million a day in overages had a little incentive to leave his trailer, according to Elwes. Yes, in an interview given into Ophira Essenberg on the NPR show, who asked me another and refused to call Elwes by his given name, and choosing instead to refer to the then teenager as Rocky. Marlon Brando refused to memorize most of his lines in advance. In the scene where he puts infant Kal-El into the escape pod, he was actually reading his lines from the diaper of the baby. He told director Richard Donner that the only way he needed to keep his performance French and not over rehearsed was to record the first time he read the lines. So what we're looking at here is him squinting and reading lines off of a diaper, which makes this touching scene of them saying goodbye to their infant son quite hilarious. And hello, Max Redstone. Jor-El! On his first day on the set, Marlon Brando suggested to Richard Donner that the camera is rolled during the rehearsal. Brando reportedly said, "Who knows? We might get lucky." According to Donner, that very first take was the one that was used in the finished film. Brando, who was notoriously lazy, and was constantly pulling little stunts like this to lessen his workload. Christopher Reeve, he even complained about it in an interview, saying Brando was in and phoning it in its shows. And speaking of the interview, said interview with David Letterman, Christopher Reeve criticized Marlon Brando for his performance in Superman. He accused the acting legend of phoning in his Superman performance and of not really trying to carry out all carrying not trying or caring at all about the performance. In a March 1982 interview on NBC's Late Night with David Letterman, and unearthed by a Heat Vision, and the late Superman actor said he was disappointed with the with his experience with Brando, saying the Oscar-winning actor who played his on-screen father, Jor-El, was only in it for the money, and it showed. I don't say this is to be vicious, he quotes, but I don't worship at the altar of Marlon Brando because I feel he copped out in a certain way. We've told Letterman what happened, and is the press love of him whether he was good, bad, or indifferent. That people just thought he was an institution no matter what he did, and so he doesn't care anymore. We've said, in his opinion, Brando could have been a great beacon to young actors such as himself, but he threw in the towel. I just think it would be sad to be 53 or whatever he is and not give a damn, and that's all. We've told Letterman. Gene Hackman was initially reluctant to take the part of Lex Luthor, as he felt it would have damaged his reputation as a serious actor. It obviously did not. Though, a little side note, even though I love Gene Hackman's acting, I actually don't really feel he was the greatest as Lex Luthor. Or just, I don't know, just my opinion on the matter. Initially, Gene Hackman refused to shave off his mustache to play Lex Luthor. And early, when she needs of the movie, his face is featured with a mustache. Before Richard Donner and Hackman met face to face, Donner proposed to Hackman that if he would shave his mustache, Donner would shave his too, and Hackman agreed. It turned out later that Donner did not have a mustache at all. He wore a false mustache that he peeled off at the last moment. Nice bit of trickery there. Gene Hackman flatly refused to shave his head to wear a bald cap to play Lex Luthor. To get around on this issue, Hackman's own natural hair was styled differently from scene to scene and to give the appearance of him having changed hair pieces. Numerous hair pieces are visible in his underground complex. Hackman relented and wore a skull cap in one scene, and when he is taken into prison by a Superman. It is visible when he angrily rips off his hairpiece to address the prison's warden, and who questions who he is. Hackman was also forced to shave off his mustache, which he was keen on keeping at the time, which we also mentioned already. Ironically, Lex Luthor, aka Gene Hackman's brother Richard, who had saved young Superman, aka Jeff East. He's from being killed during the shoot. East described the incident during a recent interview, or maybe not so recent nowadays. Gene Hackman's brother Richard saved my life on one day of shooting. I was doing the shoot of jumping in front of the train, which is what we're seeing in the screenshot, and the crane moved past the mark, and I swung into the oncoming train. Richard Hackman caught me as I was swung back into the camera area. If he had not caught me, I would have been hit by the oncoming train and most likely injured, if not killed. A very scary moment. And thanks, Richard. Yes, thank you. Yes, dangerous practical effects. Nowadays, they would have done this whole scene with CGI, I'm sure. Jeffy East, who played young Clark at the beginning of the movie, he had to wear both a wig and a fake nose to look more like Christopher Reeve. It it was painstaking for all involved, 3 to 4 hours daily for several months. He said it in a recent interview to me. It made me look more like Chris, and it was necessary for the wig because I have naturally curly blonde hair, so it works for the look, but difficult to wear at first, and eventually he helped me become the character from an outside visual aspect. It took 3 to 4 hours every day to apply the makeup upon if you can make him resemble the Christopher Reeves there. And this was a shot of him with the makeup, and for contrast, this is what he looks like naturally without any of the makeup. Let's see here. Jeffries, who played the young Clark Kent, had his voice dubbed by Christopher Reeve, although he knew nothing about it at the time. East wasn't happy with the decision, and as it was done without his permission. It was some years later that he resolved his differences with Reeve. Yeah, well. Aaron Smolensky, who played the child Kyle, would later appear uncredited in Superman and 3 as a little boy waiting outside a phone booth while Clark Kent is changing into Superman. He also played a communications officer in Man of Steel from 2013. Well, he sure got around, didn't he? Wish I had time to have gotten the screenshots to show you guys his other appearances. Christopher Reeve was an unknown actor at the time. The credits in nearly every trailer for this film list Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman before Reeve, who played Superman. Christopher Reeve attended a Special Olympics fundraiser held at Arnold Schwarzenegger's house for the film's premiere in 1978. Reeve was offered but turned down 2 roles that went into Schwarzenegger: The Running Man and Total Recall. Uh, I could see Reeve in The Running Man. Not so sure about. I don't think Total Recall would have worked without Arnold Schwarzenegger personally. To obtain the muscular to obtain the musculature to convincingly play Superman, Christopher Reeve underwent into a bodybuilding regime supervised by David Prowse, the man who played Darth Vader in the original Star Wars trilogy. Christopher Reeve worked out so much during the making of this film that the traveling matte shots taken of him at the beginning of the shoot did not match the later shoots, and they had to be retaken. Christopher Reeve's wardrobe was handmade by Russian women staying at a local holiday inn while they awaited a decision regarding a request for asylum. So migrant workers here's made a Superman's costume. Christopher Reeve was picked from over 200 actors who auditioned in for the role of Clark Kent, aka Superman. Christopher Reeve, Superman, and does not appear here on screen until 48 minutes into the film. The copy I have has it around the 1 hour mark. I wonder if I have an extended edition. However, his voice is heard in the Smallville scenes, as he dubbed Jeff Easton, which we covered. Gene Hackman, who played a principal villain Lex Luthor, is not fully seen until just over an hour into the film. And this is the shot of Christopher Reeve's first on-screen appearance. Linda Carter, aka Wonder Woman, said in an interview when they were two up and coming actors in Hollywood, and she was dealing with Hollywood's sexism, follow superhero Christopher Reeve. He's very nice to her. Christopher Reeve, he's amazing. And he was amazing before he was amazing, according to the quote of hers. So rave reviews from Wonder Woman herself. Originally, the helicopter scene was simply going to have Superman save Lois from falling. Later, Richard Donner decided to have the helicopter drop, and the modified scene was called the Double Jeopardy scene. The helicopter scene was intended to be shot on the top of the then Pan Am building until a real life accident on the helicopter on the heliport killed several passengers as well as a pedestrian from a falling helicopter blade on May 16th, 1977. The sequence with the helicopter falling off the Daily Planet roof took 6 months to film, using 5 film units and it's working in 2 countries. The producers wanted Joan Crawford for the role of Ma Kent. Unfortunately, Crawford was too ill to take the part and died shortly before production began. That's a shame. She died, but to be honest, I think who they got to play Ma Kent was a better choice anyway. Yugoslav front projection specialist Zoran Perisk invented a new special effects system called the Zoptic process. That followed matte work of a flying Christopher Reeve to be placed in relation to background processes, which would then focus in and out. Yes, they were very creative back then. This was the first movie to make use of the new Dolby Stereo 7mm split stereo surround sounds. The New York City double for Metropolis, as well the New York Daily News building being served as the location for the office of the Daily Planet. Brooklyn Heights was also used. And there we have a shot of the Daily Planet building right there. In its initial run, the film topped the box office and charts for 13 consecutive weeks. That's a very happy Superman there. Dedicated with love and respect to the memory of director filmography photography Jeffrey Unsworth, who had died before the Superman 1978 premiere. The end title sequence is more than 7 minutes long, a record at the time of the film's release in 1978. It's also one of the fancier looking ones you can find too. I mean, Let's see what we are. Brando negotiated a deal, with Alexander and Lynn and Sulkin, and for a salary of 3.7 million and 11.75% in the box office in his gross profits, totaling over 20 million. And later he would sue for more. Yep, this is true. Yeah. Let's get into a few more songs here. Drink here. April showers. Almost. This must have been a beautiful baby. Maybe next round. When April showers may come your way, they bring the flowers that bloom in May. So when it's raining, have no regrets, because it isn't raining, you know it's raining violets. And when you see clouds up on a hill, know that there will be crowds of daffodils. So just keep looking for a bluebird and listening for his song whenever April showers come along. And when you see clouds up on a hill, know that there'll be crowds of daffodils. So keep looking for a bluebird and listening for a song whenever April showers come along. And one more song, of course. Where are we gonna get this time? Yeah. There's a hole in the bucket. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. Oh, hole. Then mend it, Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then mend it, dear Henry. Then mend up the hole. With what shall I mend it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I mend it, dear Liza? With what? With straw, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With straw, dear Henry, dear Henry. With straw. The straw is too long, dear Liza, dear Liza. The straw is too long, dear Liza, too long. Then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, cut it. With what shall I cut it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I cut it, dear Liza? With what? With a knife, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a knife, dear Henry, dear Henry. A knife. The knife is too dull, dear Liza, dear Liza. The knife is too dull, dear Liza, too dull. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Sharpen it. With what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza? With what? With a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry. A stone. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, dear Liza. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, too dry. Then wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Wet it. With what shall I wet it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I wet it, dear Liza? With what? With water, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With water, dear Henry, dear Henry. With water. With what shall I fetch it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I fetch it, dear Liza? With what? With a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry. A bucket. But there's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. A hole. But not to worry. He peed on a stone, sharpened his knife, and cut the straw and finished his bucket. But the water never quite tasted the same again. I think we can all agree that Henry would be pretty much useless without his wife Liza too. Now, I had this whole radio broadcast planned for this segment, but YouTube kept nuking it. So instead, I am going to have to do a little reading. This is why I had to whip together at last minute. Thanks to Grok for helping me put this together. I'm not a really big fan of Elon Musk and his vaporware, but I gotta say Grok was actually a pretty good AI. So, little as for a backstory, I could read. He didn't replace with a radio broadcast, and this is what he was able to put together last minute. On the distant planet of Krypton, beneath the crimson sun, a world of crystal spires. Let me restart that. Hold on. Gotta get some images up here. Come on. On the distant planet of Krypton, beneath the crimson sun, in the world of crystal spires and boundless knowledge, which face its final hours, scientist Jor-El stood before the science council. Well, his voice is urgent. Krypton is doomed. Our core trembles and quakes. Things will tear us apart, he warned. Soon our world will shatter. But the council scoffed and dismissed him, and blinded by arrogance. In their home, Jor-El and his wife Flora gazed at their infant son Kal-El, cradling him in their arms. With no time left, if they placed him in a sleek rocket, its hull glowing, Laura whispered, "He'll live. Jor-El, he'll carry our love." As Krypton erupted in cataclysm of fire and sorrow, the rocket soared into the cosmos. It was bound for a small blue world called Earth. The rocket streaked across the stars, carrying with it the hope of Krypton, a solitary spark in the cosmic void, crashing in a golden wheat field in Smallville, Kansas. There, Jonathan and Martha Kent, a kind-hearted yet humble farming couple, found a miracle. A baby, unharmed, with light as bright as the sun. And they named him Clark, raised him as their own, with lessons of love and kindness in their sunlit farmhouse. But Clark was no ordinary boy. As a toddler, he lifted tractors with ease. As a teen, he outran trains and leaped over barns. His heart torn between belonging and the strange power within. The Kents taught him to hide his gift, to wear glasses and a timid smile, but also to use those powers for good. "You're special, Clark," Martha said, stitching a blue suit with a red cape from the rocket's blankets. "The world needs you." Metropolis is the city of steel and ambition. Clark Kent became a reporter at the Daily Planet, his pen seeking truth beside the fearless Lois Lane. But when danger struck, crooks, disasters, or threats beyond imagine, like the cunning Lex Luthor, Clark shed his meek disguise. In a blur of red and blue, he became Superman, the Man of Steel, soaring above skyscrapers, catching falling planes, and shielding the helpless. Powered by Earth's yellow sun, and his strength could move mountains. His eyes pierced walls. His heart carried the hope of two worlds, Krypton's legacy and humanity's dreams. With every rescue, every stand in for justice, Superman vowed to honor the lessons of the Kentons who raised him, the parents who gave him life if he never knew, and the world which gave him a home. The S is on his chest, a Kryptonian emblem of hope, became a beacon for all, a hero whose light was never would never fade. I would have liked to have polished that up a little bit if I had a few more hours, but for something I was able to throw together in about an hour or before the show, I guess it's not too bad. I would have liked to have played the, the baby me from Krypton on radio broadcast as for you all, but unfortunately, it was just not working out for me with YouTube. But got a couple more songs here, maybe, and we can move on to. Where we move on to here, and we have Blue Skies. Somehow that feels appropriate for a Superman theme show. I was blue, just as blue as I could be. Every day was a cloudy day for me. Then good luck came a knocking at my door. Skies were gray, but they were not gray anymore. Blue skies smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see. Blue birds singing a song. Nothing but bluebirds all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright. Never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, my how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on. I should care if the wind blows east or west. I should fret if the worst looks the best. I should mind, they say it can't be true. I should smile, that's exactly what I'll do. Blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on. And of course, one more song. I probably shouldn't have taken that down. You must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a wonderful child. When you were only starting to go to kindergarten, you must have drove the little boys wild. And when it came to winning blue ribbons, you must have shown the other kids how. I can see the judge's eyes as they handed you the prize. You must have made the cutest bow. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby, 'cause baby, look at you now. Does your mother realize the stork delivered quite a prize the day he left you on the family tree? Does your dad appreciate that you're merely super great? A miracle for any century. If they don't, just send them both to me. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a wonderful child. When you were only starting to go to kindergarten, you must have drove the little boys wild. And when it came to winning blue ribbons, you must have shown the other kids how. I can see the judge's eyes as they handed you the prize. You must have made the cutest bow. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby, 'cause baby, look at you now. Let's see what time we have. Let's do one more song. I gotta remember I have a few more songs to the wheel. Yeah, Skidmarink. That's a good one. Down on the Bola Bola Island, where the mermaids chant, reigns a big chief crocodile beneath an oyster plant. He loved to sing selfishly, queen of the gay white wave. And each night in his shell he'd go to sea, and in tuneful scales he'd rave. Skidamarinka-dinka-boop, skidamarinka-doo means I love you. Skidamarinka-dinka-boop, skidamarinka-doo means I'll be true. Skidmarink-a-dink-a-boop, skidmarink-a-doo. All the time he sang this rhyme. Skidmarink-a-dink-a-boop, skidmarink-a-doo means I love you. But when the midnight moon was pale, Kingfish Kokomo came floating over with his tail. To say he loved her so. But she was true to crocodile, said Coconut, go away. I know in a very little while you'll hear my lover say, Skidamarinka-dinka-boop, skidamarinka-doo, I love you. Skidamarinka-dinka-boop, skidamarinka-doo, I love you. I love you in the morning and in the afternoon. I love you in the evening underneath the moon. Skidamarinka-dinka-boop, skidamarinka-doo. I love you. And we have a visitor here. We have a Molly. So that means we have to find a Molly clip. Let's see. What shall we play here? It's a good Molly clip. This is a good Molly clip. Okay. With that, I think we can get to our next segment. The first story here from Action Comics. Now, I won't keep this up throughout the whole thing, just to kind of vary it up a little bit. But I'll be reading the story, giving a little bit of commentary, just in case of any copyright issues. So I'm giving commentary on it as well while I was reading the story. Hopefully that will work out for me. Superman by Jerome Siegel and Joe Shuster. As a distant planet, it was destroyed by old age. A scientist misplaced his infant son within a hastily devised spaceship, launching it toward Earth. When the vehicle landed on Earth, a passing motorist discovered the sleeping baby within and turned the child over to an orphanage. Attendants unaware that the child's physical structure was millions of years advance of their own, and were astounded at his feats of strength as he lifts up a chair over his head. When in mature he was reached, he discovered he could easily leap, pointing of a mile hurdle, a 20-story building, raise his tremendous weights while he's lifting a steel girder, run faster than an express train, and that nothing less than a bursting shell could penetrate his skin. Apparently, he took even more than that. Early Clark Kent to say he must turn his titanic strength into challenges that would benefit mankind, and so was created Superman, champion of the oppressed and physical marvel, all who had sworn to devote his existence to the helping those in need. A scientific explosion of Clark Kent's amazing strength. Kent had come from a planet whose inhabitants' physical structure was millions of years advanced of our own. Upon reaching maturity, the people of his race became gifted with titanic strength. Incredible? No! For even in today, our own world exists creatures with super strength. The lowly ant can support weight hundreds of times its own. And the grasshopper leaps what to man and would be the space of several city blocks. I guess Bugman wasn't as catchy as Superman. A tireless figure races through the night. A second count. Delay means forfeit of an innocent life. The governor estate finally is reached. Make yourself comfortable. Well, I haven't time to attend into it. Ah, yes. Truth, justice, and kidnapping women. Okay, well, he apparently is the one who's guilty of whatever this crime that he's trying to save an innocent life from death row here. But still, what do you mean by knocking in this hour of night? I must see the governor, or it's a matter of life and death. See him in the morning. I'll see him now. And Superman breaks down the door, knocking it right off the hinges. Superman, truth, justice, breaking an entry, and vandalism. This is illegal entry. I'll have you arrested. Answer my question. And are you going to take me to the governor? No, I won't. Then I'll take you to him. Help! Help! And Superman carries the guy upstairs. Yes, this is the governor's sleeping room. Don't you think you're going to get away with this outrage? It's locked. Yes, and made of steel. Try and knock this door down. And Superman just crumples it like it's made of cardboard. It was your idea. What's the meaning of this? Evelyn Curry is to be electrocuted in 15 minutes for murder. I have proof of of her innocence, a signed confession, which makes me wonder how exactly he got that signed confession. And I'm willing to bet it wouldn't hold up in court. Believing in the governor, her menaced by a madman, and the butler produced a concealed weapon. Reach for the ceiling, quick! Put that away. Put that toy away. I warn you. Take another step, and I shoot. And he shoots, and of course, it does nothing into Superman. The bullet ricochets off Superman and his tough skin. This is no time for horseplay. We have a little timer on the side of the screen, in the panel. Don't you realize I've proved she's innocent and you alone can save her? Let me see those papers, the governor asks. Hurry, contact me with the penitentiary. Back in the penitentiary. Stop! The governor has pardoned her. Thank God. I told you I was innocent. He's gone, disappeared. So, speaking about Superman. Yes, but here's a note he left. Sir, you'll find the real murderess is bound and delivered on the lawn of your estate. Well, she didn't really look all that bound. She looked like she could pretty easily get up and just kind of run off. The next morning, as Kent leaves for the newspaper on which she works as a reporter. Have you heard? The Curry girl was innocent. Clark Kent, let's see the paper. Little sort of a thought bubble, I guess. Maybe a whisper. Good. I'm not mentioned. Curry released. Miles away, in the governor's private chamber. Gentlemen, I still can't believe my senses. He's not human. Thank heaven, he apparently on the side of law and order. Says the guy who had his front door bashed in, and his security door crushed with a kidnapped woman who probably had a forced confession out of her. Law and order. The Daily Star, apparently they hadn't changed it to the Daily Planet yet, office is reached. You wanted to see me? Yes, be seated. Did you ever hear of Superman? What? Clark Kent says. Report, reporters have been streaming in that a fellow with gigantic strength named Superman actually exists. I'm making it your steady assignment and to cover these reports. Think you can handle it, Kent? Listen, Chief, if I can't find out anything about this Superman, no one can. I suppose being the guy they're talking about does help. Hurry, Kent. A phone tip wife beating at 12 11 Court Ave. I'm on my way. That's kind of a strange thing to phone into a reporter's office rather than police, but okay. At 1211 Court Ave. Hold it, Superman, and says, what do you want? Don't get tough. Tough is putting mildly the treatment that you're going to get. He slams him into a wall there. You're not fighting a woman now. Yes, for it. He guys pulls a knife with a sharp snap at the blade. He breaks upon Superman's tough skin. And how you're going to get a lesson you'll never forget. And the guy faints. What a puss. Hearing police siren, and Superman hurriedly he donned in street clothes was over his uniform. It would be just too bad if they searched me. What are you doing here? Hello, Captain. I arrived. I have to find in the place. It's like this. Yes, looks like as if the our friend Superman and had dropped in to pay a visit. Well, the next panel, back at the Daily Star, apparently. Well, what do you say to our date tonight, Lois? I suppose I'll give you a break for a change. That night, why is it you always avoid me at the office? Please, Kark, I've been in, scribbling sob stories all day long. Don't ask me to dish out another. Nice looking ding in there, eh? Guess I'll cut in. Wait, Butch, you suppose her escort don't like it? So what if he gets nasty? I'll push his face in. This is going to be good. I said, run along. I'm cutting in. But this is not a robber's dance. Trying to get it flip, move quick if you know what good for you. Clark, are you going to stand in for this? Reluctantly, he adheres to his role as of a weakling. Be reasonable, Lois. Dance with the fellow, and then we'll leave right away. You can stay and dance with him if you wish, but I'm leaving now. Yeah, you'll dance with me and like it. Why you? Who? And Lois slaps him in the face. Good for you, Lois. He says to himself. Clint says, Lois, don't fight you, weak Liverpool cat. Really, I have no desire to do so. Wait, Lois, says Lois walks off. But Lois, getting into her cab, you asked me earlier in the evening why I avoid you. I'll tell you why now. Because you're a spineless, unbearable coward. Let's get out of here. The jerk who was trying to dance with Lois. I'll show that skirt. She can't make a fool out of Butch Matson. A few minutes later, a hidden figure observes Butch and his fellow hoodlum leave the road, being Superman. Butch forces Lois taxi into a ditch. Pull over there. he pull Lois out of the cab. And hold her. Let me go. Get in that car and shut up. Well, maybe you two you may meet again. What burns me up is that I left her yellow boy friend and off so easy. Then I hope it'll be soon. Hey, watch out! Someone is standing in the road up ahead of us. Ha ha! Watch me scare him out of his wits. It's Superman and standing there. Look out! You'll hit him! Superman and hurdles the oncoming auto, jumping over it. But Butch, step on the gas. He's chasing after us. It's the devil himself. And and Superman runs after the car. Butch's his car leaps for her like a release his rocket, but easily he overtaken by Superman. And of course, we have to get the iconic cover art from this one. Yo! The occupants of the car are shaken out. Next, Superman takes engine one and spring, and the car itself smashed to bits. Superman, truth, justice, and vandalism. Just a minute, Butch. Do you mind? This will take but a few seconds. And he hangs Butch from a telephone pole. Get me off of here. Okay, I'll cut you loose. Don't! You needn't be afraid of me. I won't harm you, he says. Superman says to Lois. Rearing Lois in his arm, Superman and heads towards the city. Dousing her upon on its outskirts. I advise you not to print this little episode. Next morning, but I tell you, I saw Superman and last night. Coming from Lois. Are you sure it wasn't in Pink Elephant she saw? Lois, the street it's colder than ever. I'm sorry about last night. Please don't be angry with me. Clark receives an assignment. Kent, the front and page is getting so dull. Well, I've even got a headline in card games. There's a war going on in a small South American republic in Sandmount. And to stir up news, I'm sending you down there here as a correspondent. Take along on the camera and try to send back some good shots with your articles. Kente takes a train not to Ward, San and Mount, but to Washington, D.C. In the capital city, he attends the session of Congress, sitting in the gallery. Is this a Senator Barrows speaking? Some guy, yes. Upon leaving the Senate chamber, your clerk snaps a picture of a furtive man and speaking swiftly to Senator Barrows. When can I see you? I told you never to speak to me in public. Like, my home tonight at 8:30 at the morgue. At the morgue, news of a local newspaper. Clark Kent. Who is this I'm speaking to Senator Burrows. Who's this chap? I'm speaking to Senator Burrows. Why, that's Alex Sheard. You're this like I guess this lobbyist. This in Washington. No one knows what interests back in. Speaking to a lobbyist, this was considered to be a bad thing back then. 8:30 a.m. Outside Senator Burrows' residence. Mm, eavesdropper listens in on the interesting conversation. Superman. I've told you to avoid me in public. Like, what would the people think if they knew I had anything to do with you? Quite sputtering. I had to see you. You tell me. Do you think you'll succeed in pushing the bill through? There's no doubt about it. The bill will be passed for its full implication and are realized before any remedial steps can be taken. In our country, you will be embroiled with Europe. Fine. We'll take care of you financially for this. I suppose you're going to be well taken care of yourself. You bet he will, says Superman. Upon leaving, Barrow is confronted by Superman, who is behind you and corrupting Senator Burrows. I don't know what you're talking about. So you're one of these silent men, eh? We'll see whether you'll talk. Let go of my hand. Your foot will do just as well. And Superman grabs his foot and leaps into the air. Stop! Stop! You'll be electrocuted. No, we won't. Birds sit on telephone wires and they are electrocuted. Not unless they touch a telephone pole and are grounded. Oops, almost touched that pole. Look, the Capitol. Let's pay it a visit. Take me down! Take me down! What a magnificent view. Help! Help! I wonder if we could jump all the way to that building. No, don't! Despite a frenzy, he protests. Superman leaps out into the night. Doesn't really look like night, looks like day. Miss Doggone it. You missed the building. And so it begins the startling adventures of the most sensational strip character of all time, Superman. They sure weren't lying about that. A physical marvel, or mental no wonder, or Superman in his destined to reshape the destiny of our world. This is true. He did do that, both in fiction and in real life. Can you thrill at the daring deeds of this superb creation? Don't miss an issue. Well, we probably won't be covering other issues, but I hope you enjoyed that. And I believe we have come to the end of the show now. So, without further ado, it looks like Theta will be starting his show pretty soon here. There is a link to Theta of the Grid's show, and tonight we are covering he's covering Cosmic Theta Theater, the Little Shop of Horror, and Twilight Zone 80s. So I'll see you over there in a few minutes. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and maybe you live with truth, justice, and the American way.